Hi, I'm Bill Snyder, Sports Information Director at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, and welcome to another episode of Bulldog Blitz. Well, 2 weeks down in the 2013 season, and the Bulldogs are 2-0 after a 36-7 win over Holmes last night. Gulf Coast, of course, the #1 team in the nation. With me, as always, Gulf Coast head coach Steve Campbell. And, Coach, last night's game, a win. As long as you score more points than the other team, it's a win. An interesting game, had some defense, special teams, some young guys step up, and it was one of those grinded-out victories, but it counts and kind of shows you some of the character about these guys when they face a little bit of adversity.
Yeah, we definitely had some adversity going into last night. And, the guys really responded well. I was pleased with the play of the defense. Played really, really well. TR came in and did a great job. Took the first drive down, and we were able to get points off of that. And then we got the interception. Darius Jones got the interception and gave us the ball back. So there were a lot of good things. It did turn into kind of a grinded out kind of game, but the guys responded and really played well and gave us a chance to win by close to 30. A lot of mistakes that we need to correct, and it's still early in the year, but it's time to get those things fixed and as we move forward.
Yeah. So 2 games in, Gulf Coast at 2-0, and the first game, you pretty much a blowout. This one, even though, like you said, the score 36-7, for a while there it was fairly close, but at this point, still playing a lot of freshmen. Called the names of some guys that haven't played yet. Looked like they came in and did a good job, and so really from that standpoint, got to be pleased the way these guys stepped up. Also with some key injuries, some young guys came in. It was kind of a next man up scenario for part of the game. Yeah,
that's our kind of our mantras. The next guys just got to step up, and they did that last night. I mean, the first drive, we were, trying to find ways to get Doc Hill one-on-one, but TR did a great job of getting the ball, got one to Ish. I think he got another one to him on 2 maybe in the first drive that were big plays, and so we spread the ball around some, and some other guys stepped up, and defensively, a lot of guys stepped. Tim Oster had a big play. Trey always, has big plays. Trey Wofford's been making plays for 2 years now, but a lot of guys stepped up, and and that's pleasing. And the special teams, Rod Williams had another big tackle. The punter punted the ball really well. Kevin had, some good punts to pin them deep. Kevin had a good throw there. So there were some good things by some young guys, which this is junior college football, as freshmen and sophomores. So you need for your freshmen to step up, and they definitely did that, and I'm proud of that fact.
And we're going to show you some of those plays here in a few minutes. Had a little offense, a lot of defense, and some good special teams, even some trickeration in this 36-7 win. Coming up after the break, we'll chronicle the Thursday night win over Holmes here on Bulldog Blitz. You're watching Bulldog Blitz here on WLOX. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Megan, and I'm going into nursing field, and I came to JD because it's very close to my house, and I figured that if I just want to do my basics, I can just go to university later.
Well, first at college, I picked the college that's really close to home. My dad worked at Chevron, and he always told me about it, got me really interested.
And it's close enough to home to where I still get a really great college experience, but I still feel like this is my home, like this is a place that I can be comfortable.
Let's go, baby. Hit him out on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hit him out.
Welcome back to Bulldog Blitz. So Holmes comes in. Field was a little moist after a shower before the game, and it had that muggy feel to it. And getting going, it was a little muggy at the beginning, especially for Holmes on their first drive. Darius Jones picks off a pass, kind of sets the tone for the defensive part of the game. On that first drive, some nice plays by the offense, setting up Tristan Reynolds, his first field goal. He had all PATs last week, a 21-yarder, making it 3-0. Got some points there, and also, kind of got things going.
Yeah, that was a good first drive for us. Wish we would have, once we got down in the red zone, I believe we were at the +2 or +3, and wound up backing up. We needed to finish that drive with a touchdown. We ran a little inside zone up the middle and wound up losing a couple of yards. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to go backwards once you get down in the red zone, and typically that's not what we've done. So, but each year's a new year, and that's something that we got to get fixed. And because we should have went up 7-0 right off the bat, but Tristan came in, converted the field goal, gave us a 3-0 lead, and that was good.
It was good. So 3-0 after the first quarter. The second quarter, things got a little interesting. Offense was struggling a little bit. Then your All-American takes over. DeQuil Williams takes that little screen pass and does a Barry Sanders-esque type of play, going right, can't find anything, then goes back left 55 yards to really set up the team in good shape for the first touchdown of the game. And that's just one of those, when you got a player like that, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, we need to find ways to, and that was one way to get him the football, because he can do a lot of things once he gets the ball in his hands, and he made a play there. And, you got a guy like Doc Hill, he's always, has a chance to take the ball to the house or set you up in real good field position anytime he touches it. Made a great play there, reverse field, and broke some tackles and set us up in good field position.
And we ended that drive with a 3-yard touchdown run by Justin Brister. So that made it 10-0, and there was a sequence there really, after Darius Jones got that first interception to set the tone. There was another sequence there sometime in the second quarter where the defense went sack, tackle for loss, sack, and really had Holmes on their heels, and it was just fun to watch. And then after that was the trickeration. Down there, the drive stalls, so line up for a field goal. Kevin Phillips, the punter, the freshman, takes it, throws a perfect pass to Dakil, who was wide open, the old missing man play, and that thing really worked to perfection, set the tone before halftime.
Yeah, that's something that that we've always got in our in our toolbox, and the situation presented itself, and it's 10-0. Do you use it now? Because normally that thing's good once a year, and tight ball game, and we were struggling a little bit offensively, getting our sea legs and all that, so we went ahead and pulled it out, and it was there. And Kevin made a great throw, Doc Hill wide open, great catch, and that gave us a little breathing room there, 17-0 before the half, so that was good.
And at that point, when you have plays like that, do you talk to the referees before the game and say, hey, there might be, or do you just come out of nowhere with it? I've seen sometimes in the pros they say, hey, I saw that in the Super Bowl with the Saints. Sean Payton said that. Not at this level, though, huh?
Well, no, we've got an outstanding officiating crew. The referee spots the ball ready for play. Everybody's got to be within the numbers. Once the ball is spotted, so we huddle. And without giving the description of the play, because we may want to use it again, but it's completely with, and then they jog off. Well, after the ball is ready for play, just don't jog all the way off. And they left him there. But, sometimes referee, well, coach, you can't, it is complete with it. Notre Dame got that play off. Notre Dame, Charlie Weiss ran it against Southern Cal like 8 years ago. And it's been in our toolbox ever since. And we've ran it a couple of times over the years. We ran it against Colin a few years ago, and so it's been a good play for us over the years.
And in all seriousness, that was huge, getting those points just before halftime to kind of build some momentum going into the second half.
Yeah, it was good. Anytime you can get points there, a big touchdown right before the before the half, because is huge. We went for it on the fourth down, field position a little earlier. Defense bailed us out and got us an interception there, and then we were able to, so one of our little, I guess gambling going for it didn't pay off, but defense bailed us out, and then there you gamble and get the touchdown. So you win some and you lose some, but you got to keep trying things to give yourself a chance.
Sure. So 17-0 at halftime. Come out in the third quarter, that's really where the defense took it to another level. I think had 5 sacks, 2 or 3 turnovers, and then the big one on that safety blitz, talking about gambling, you bring both corners off the corners, 2 guys. Elijah Parker hits the quarterback, and Tim Oster scoops one up. Those are 2 guys, 2 freshmen making a big play. And then at that point, as far as the defense was going, the floodgates were open.
Yeah, defensively, Coach Davis, Dennis, Coach Moore, Coach Dorsett, they really had a great plan, and Steve was bringing some heat, and the guys did a great job. Elijah coming off the edge, made a great hit. Tim made a great play. Recovered the ball in the end zone. Defensively, really played well. I was very pleased with the play of the secondary. We gave up one play on a little wheel route early in the game. I guess it was first play from scrimmage, maybe first or second play from scrimmage. But for the rest of the game, we didn't let them get behind us. And this is 2 weeks in a row that the defense didn't let anybody get behind us. And if we can make the other team take the long haul, line up and play it again, even on their touchdown, I mean, Tony was there, and Tony's a great player. He makes that interception 9 times out of 10. We just didn't let them get behind us, and that's our whole deal on defense, and it has been over the. If we can keep them in front of us, we have a great chance, and they did that all night long, and the D-line and linebackers really did a great job of putting pressure on the quarterback, and secondary did an outstanding job in coverage.
And how ridiculous is Trey Wofford? Another scoop and score for him. I mean, it's an old cliche, but he has a nose for the football. And you say that about people. This guy really does. I mean, it seems like every week he's around the ball, whether he was playing the gunner on special teams or linebacker or whatever. It's just a great weapon to have. It
is. Trey's an outstanding football player. We talked about Trey last week. Trey played offense and defense in high school. He's just one of those guys that, you could put him at a lot of positions, and Trey could be a safety. We moved him to linebacker because he's got great speed. Trey could be a running back. He's one of those guys. If you're playing pickup football out in the yard, you want him on your team because he understands the game. He don't take a whole lot of reps on something. You can explain it, and he picks it up real quick. He's just a heck of a football player.
So at that point, Gulf Coast in pretty good shape, up 24-0, and then after the Trey Wofford score, making it 30-0. And the capper late in the game, the home run hitter, Rod Williams, comes in and breaks another one to the house. That's 2 weeks in a row. He's gone more than 65 yards. 2 weeks in a row that Trey Wofford has scored on a fumble. So that's kind of a nice trend to have, and it ends up being a 36-7 victory. And it was a grinded out, and, we were talking about it. You could call it unattractive or whatever, but a win is a win, especially in those circumstances. And when you have all those injuries, too, the guys stepping up. So, on the bright side, a lot of positives. As you said, the young players still have to grow up, but all in all, not too bad at all.
No, anytime, coming into any game, you want to win the football game, whether it's, you take a 1-point victory if your team played really well. And then, after you win, the things you look at is how well did we play. Well, defensively, I thought we played really well. I mean, there's defense played outstanding. Offensively, we played that, that first drive was really good. We moved the ball around, did a lot of different things, got down in the red zone and just didn't punch it in. Then, we had some series where we were able to put some things together. It's just after last week when we only punted one time, the defense was better this week. So there's some things we still need to keep improving at, but, all in all, we were able to, we got 36 points on the board and got a victory. Now we need to correct these mistakes, move forward, and let's see how much better we can get before next week.
And next week, traveling for the first time this year on the road against Hines. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Coming up next after our next break here on Bulldog Blitz, a player profile, a player who shined last night. We'll tell you about that in just a few minutes. Right now, we're going to take a look at the Week 2 scoreboard, sponsored by The Shed in Gulfport. You're watching Bulldog Blitz here on WLOX.
Here at Gulf Coast, and I'm really glad I made the decision to come here.
Basically, a lot of family members came here, they telling me good things about it.
I love it. The clinical experience, everything about it. I loved it. The teachers are great.
I also take a weekend class. You only meet 4 times a week, which is so much better for my schedule.
The classes are smaller, which means the teachers, can help you more easily.
I've gained the confidence that I am ready to go off and do great things.
And welcome back to Bulldog Blitz. This week on our player profile segment, we're going to introduce you to a spectacular sophomore. He's already scored 2 touchdowns this year on defense. It's linebacker Trey Wofford.
whatever position you do, just go hard at every position, 100%. I was just like versatile. I had to learn everything, play both, just go really hard at, try to get known and seen by special teams. So I just had to like go out there and stick with it. Just try to get like 200 tackles on kickoff or whatever special teams that I did. Yeah, I think that I can like turn the game around if we're down, change the momentum of the game and stuff like that, get the team back up. You know, we all coming back, so we got this little chemistry we got going. So, you know, we like to play with each other, make plays for each other. We're like brothers out there, just having fun. I mean, it was a big difference at first, but you know, I had to like suck it up and just get used to it. And it helped me. It changed me as a person, coming out, being away from home.
And, Coach, right on cue, Trey Wofford scores another touchdown last night. Of course, we talked about this last week. He did that last year as the gunner on kickoffs and punt returns. He did it as a defensive player. So when you got somebody like that, that's an added dimension, knowing if there's a loose ball anywhere, chances are he's going to come up with it and make a play.
Yeah, and, you know, Trey's got a lot of those honey badger qualities. I mean, he's always around the football and finds a way to pull it out. You know, there was a turnover there early that they didn't give us, where Trey kind of came up with the football in one of Holmes' early drives. You know, after looking at the film, it did look like the ball came out. Trey got the ball out before the guy's knee hit, and that should have been another turnover for us. So, you know, he's a playmaker. He's a guy that understands the game, and you can tell he grew up playing a lot of football out in the yard. And so he knows the ins and outs, and he's a good football player. I'll take as many of Trey Wofford's as we can get. He's a great young man, good student in the classroom, and a good citizen, and an outstanding football player.
And as we said, Wofford, some of the other sophomores coming up huge in the 36-7 win over Holmes. Now, coming up after the break, we'll talk about the MGCCC poll and the Gulf Coast legacy in that we've had the last 4 or 5 years. Heading into the break, we'll look at this week's poll with the Bulldogs still #1 in the country. You're watching Bulldog Blitz here on WLOX.
Programs here, they don't just give you the basic knowledge of the program, they teach you how to work with a client and go out in the real world.
All of my instructors have been a great help for me.
One-on-one experiences you need, and just always there to help you out when you need it.
You get that one-on-one interaction with your teacher. The teachers are very welcoming.
I really like the idea of being able to go to a smaller student-to-teacher ratio.
They teach you how to be confident, and that's a very useful skill that you can apply to anything.
And welcome back to Bulldog Blitz. Well, you saw going into that last break, the Bulldogs #1 in the MGCCC poll. Here's some numbers to throw out to you about how well the program has been doing the last 6 or 7 years. Gulf Coast has been ranked in the MGCCC football poll for 104 straight weeks. That goes all the way back to 2005. The Bulldogs have also finished in the top 10 in the final MGCCC poll for 6 straight years. And of course, we're #1 right now. We've been there. We were there at the end of 2007 with a national championship. We were there in 2010, there last year, and here again. So no strangers to that. And when you get used to that, I don't know, do you ever get used to that as a coach, trying to keep that in perspective? You want it. It's kind of, I guess it's a double-edged sword. You want the exposure, you want the recognition, but at the same time, you know that target just gets bigger. So how do you deal with that balancing act?
You know, you try not to pay any attention to it. It's what you know, it's great for recruiting because you need to tell the recruits that, listen, we've been ranked and all that, and you use that in recruiting. But then, you know, really, we as coaches inside it, you can't pay any attention to that because this next game will start 0-0. They actually with a bigger target on you because they know that you know, they want to knock you off. You know, it makes a lot of team seasons, you know, if they can they come in and are able to defeat you. So it's a big target. We don't pay any attention to it because, the game still starts 0-0. That is worth nothing. What is it they say on those mutual fund commercials? Past performance is not indicative of. You got to go out and do it each and every week, and our guys have done that. They've stayed focused and worried about the task at hand. What we're worried about is next week. Last week is great to use in recruiting, but it's next week that counts in football, and that's been our number one focus is next week.
So basically, I shouldn't have brought this up, is what you're saying.
Well, we don't. We put it in the back, and we worry about this next game because you're only as good as your next game. It's not so much your last game. Once that one's in the bag, it's in the bag, and they don't care. It's not what you've done. That's not what you've done lately. It's what you're doing next, and we need to play really well this next week.
And we're going to talk about that game coming up in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to switch gears, head over to the golf course. We told you about Gulf Coast finishing 6 straight years in the top 10. Well, how about the MGCCC Bulldog golf team? 6 straight Region 23 titles. Right now, we're going to talk to golf head coach Tommy Snell.
The kids want to go back to nationals at Swan Lake in Indiana, so it's going to be difficult. The league has really grown competitively. It's last year Colin tripped us up at state. Northwest beat us in state too. We actually finished 3rd. So even though we've won 4 out of the last 6 states and 6 in a row region championships, we have to work hard now to win. There's so many teams that are improving, and the competition is really stiff in the MACJC. We're looking for 7 in a row. That's our ultimate goal, is to, of course, win the conference as well. For the last 3 or 4 years, it's been, heavy freshman and then heavy sophomore and so on. But this year, we have 4 sophomores back, Jake Pritchard, Hayes Weathersby, Gabe Ehlers, and Adam Ham. And then I have 8 freshmen coming in. So it's going to be hard to make the top 5 to begin with. And those 4 sophomores are being pushed by these good freshmen. So, it's going to be an exciting year in that respect. I like these kids to move on. 2 years ago, I had 7 kids. All 7 are playing somewhere at a different college. They're all competitive. Jared's at Southern. 3 of them are at William Carey. Delton's at Blue Ridge. I have 2 kids at Delta State. With Brad being my only graduate last year. Brad went to Delta State. He's doing really well. They're going through their first qualifying, and he's found out that stepping up is something. He's 4th. He's playing pretty well. I think he's 2 under after 3 rounds, and he's in 4th position. So that's what it's all about for me. I want these kids to get an education and have a little fun playing golf along the way. And so if they don't really have the goal of playing golf beyond me, they're not really going to fit in with the team. All my guys want to go on, want to play, and there's usually a place for everyone.
And for the fall golf schedule, head to our website, mgcccbulldogs.com. Good luck to Tommy and all the players in another terrific season. Now, coming back to football, we're talking about only as good as your next game. That next game's a big one, the MACJC South Division opener against Hines. Hines coming in at 2-0, a big win Thursday night over Coahoma. And we've had some pretty good success against these guys, but the last couple of times we've played them, they've been games where we got out big on them, and they came back and made the games even a little more than interesting. And they're going to be gunning for us, talking about that number 1 thing, also the South Division opener. A lot of stuff coming up next week up in Raymond, so the journey through the South Division begins.
Yes, Hines has an outstanding program, always has. Coach Murphy does an outstanding job with that program. They're 2-0, so I'm sure they're they're very focused on what their goals are. Our guys are very focused on what our goals are. So it'll be a great matchup this week. Hadn't seen the film of them yet, but I do know that they ran the football for right at 360 yards in week 1. I hadn't seen the stats on last night, what they've done, but I do know they can run the football, and I know they've got some great backs and a quarterback that was a University of North Carolina signee. He's supposed to be a great talent. I think they've got a receiver in that's a Miami Hurricane signee. So they're always loaded on the defensive line. I mean, one thing that they do is go out and get defensive linemen. They'll be an extremely well-coached football team that'll be fundamentally sound, and it'll be a team that plays extremely hard. So, it'll be a great challenge for us and a big test, one that we're looking forward to.
And going into that game, at least after last night, some guys banged up a little bit, got a week to heal and work through that. But it's a deal where if guys can go, it's great. If they can, it's a next man up deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's all it can be. In football, especially in the MACJC with your roster limitations, it's next man up. And really proud of the guys last night. We were without some guys last night. We started the season without some guys, that were hurt. And but the guys can't use that as an excuse. We hadn't even talked about it. It's not in football, you just got to next man step up and let's go. And the guys have done a great job of that. If you're focused on your goals and all of that, then next man step up and get in there and execute, and everybody takes care of their job, and we're unselfish and we play for each other. The sum of the parts is greater than the individual, and so far that's what we've been able to do.
So it'll be Gulf Coast and Hines next Thursday at 6:30. Of course, you can watch the game at MGCCCBulldogs.com via streaming video, and also listen on 103.1 Super Talk FM. But until then, I'm Bill Schneider along with head coach Steve Campbell. Thanks as always for watching Bulldog Blitz. We'll see you next time. Have a great night and a great weekend. You're watching Bulldog Blitz, sponsored this season by Raising Cane's, Jack's Home Improvement, The Shed in Gulfport, and the Whistle Stop in Wiggins. Now, back to more Bulldog Blitz. Pretty much the same formation. They fake it to Joyner, then fake it again. Now Oran going deep and throws it right to Darius Jones for the Bulldog interception. Darius playing center field. They tried a trick play, didn't trick the Bulldog defense. A turnover on the first drive. Takes the snap. Looks right, passes on the screen to DeQuil Williams. He breaks one tackle, breaks another. Look at this, going opposite field. He's got business out to the left. DeQuil with one man in front of him. DeQuil Williams, money man, run out of bounds at the 20. He was one step away from taking it to the house. Can you say All-American play? This will be a 37-yard attempt from the right hash mark. Now it's a fake. Kevin Phillips throws wide open to DeQuil Williams. Touchdown. How do you do a little okey-doke? Puts a touchdown on the board.
How do you not cover him? I mean, how do you just not cover him?
3rd and 12 from their own 33. Now a busted snap and a rugby scrum, and it's picked up. Who else but Trey Wofford? He's always around the football. He scoops and scores from 33 yards out.
Hi, I'm Megan, and I'm going into nursing field, and I came to JD because it's very close to my house, and I figured that if I just want to do my basics, I can just go to university later.
Well, first at college, I picked the college that's really close to home. My dad worked at Chevron, and he always told me about it, got me really interested.
And it's close enough to home to where I still get a really great college experience, but I still feel like this is my home, like this is a place that I can be comfortable.